Okay. Got my prescription picked up. I'm going to run over to Starbucks on the way out of town and grab a cup of coffee. I know I'm not supposed to talk about coffee, according to one viewer. I get it, but I do drink coffee, so that's what if I'm going to stop and get something to drink, that's what I'm going to stop and get to drink 99.9% of the time. We're going to take a different route back than the route I took coming down here, just because I feel like it, because I want to, more than anything. I don't want to go back up the turnpike. I forget how bad that road is. And then every time that I drive on it, I decide I don't want to go back on it, and I'll probably never go on it again, and then I forget how horrible it is, and I drive up it again, and then the cycle continues. This like happens every time I come down here and take that route. This is nothing new. Totally not anything new. Just not. Doing a lot of work down through here on stuff. A lot of road work. Some utility work. Those bucket trucks are a trip. I actually went up in one once. I had a friend up in Colorado I went to the police academy with, and I had a really tall tree out in the front yard I wanted to put Christmas lights on, and he offered to bring his bucket truck over to put the lights on. He said the catch was I had to go up in it with him, so I was like, okay, I'll try and be brave. So I did. I went up in it, and it was like really trippy. It didn't feel super stable, but you know, it was okay. We got the lights on the tree. That tree has since been cut down. I noticed the other day I was looking on Google Maps at my old house, and they took all the trees out of the front. I think they might have taken them all out of the back. I think they took all the trees out, period. Which wouldn't surprise me because those were some old trees. They probably needed to come down. I took a couple of them out when I was there. One of them just fell over one day. Couldn't believe it. I was standing looking out the back door, and the tree just fell over in the yard. Like, boof, right in front of me. I'm like, oh. Hey, I need to get that, the rest of these streets checked out. And there were a couple of them that needed to come down, so we had them taken out. But yeah, I was super lucky that it fell away from the house and not on the house. Super lucky. All that pretty green grass out there. Yeah, they're just having fall down here. They're not having winter yet. 70 miles makes a difference, I guess. Can make a big difference. I think I'm going to go down to the other Starbucks because this one very often is out of the things that I want for some reason. I guess it's just a really, really busy store. So I could get up on the interstate to get down to the other part of town. Since I'm going out the back way anyway. I can do this two ways. I can either get up on the interstate or I can run right down through town. I guess I could just run through town and show you what Wichita Falls looks like off of the interstate. I mean, I'm not going right downtown, but close to it. It's not a gigantic downtown area. So I can remember coming down here, I must have been 12 or 13 when I got my first pair of glasses. Mom brought me down here to the eye doctor. And I thought I was in a big city, let me tell you. Which is kind of funny because I was actually born in Denver, which is a big city. But we left Denver when I was like 4 years old. So I didn't actually spend that much time there. I mean, I went back and visited and stuff, but I knew it was a big city, but so it was one of the bigger cities that I had been to down here in this part of the world at that point in life. We also came to a wedding down here, not in Wichita Falls, but at Burke Burnett, which is north of Wichita Falls. It's right up by the Oklahoma line. My dad had a cousin that got married down here, and they actually invited all of us to the wedding, which was really interesting because that was the only wedding I think we ever attended as kids. That was it. People weren't funny about having kids at weddings, I don't think, back then like some of them are now. Some people are just a little too highbrow. Little too particular, a little too finicky about certain things. Oh, we can't have children at our wedding because they might be children. They might act like children. Ooh. I guess to each their own. If somebody's paying for their wedding and they don't want to have kids, that's on them. But I think it's kind of, I don't know. Personally, I think kids are kind of cool to be around. Interesting, It's interesting watching them grow. I mean, that is pretty much one of the major points of human existence is, the next generation coming up, having an interest in the people that are going to replace us, because that's what they're going to do. I mean, in a nutshell, they are our replacements. And without them, obviously humankind would cease to exist. So I don't really see anything that bad about kids. So we used to get calls, when I was a cop, we used to get calls from cranky old people complaining because kids were playing and it was too loud. And I always thought, what miserable, wretched human being you must be to begrudge the sound of children playing. And I'm not talking about kids running around with loudspeakers and, disturbing the peace and that. I'm talking about kids outside playing basketball or running around playing tag in the yard. Some people just can't tolerate anybody else having fun is basically, I think, what it boils down to. They're not having any fun, and by God, if anybody else dares to, even if they're children, this must be stopped at all costs. Some people are just that way, I think. I think it's just a weird form of crankiness that some people have. And it's kind of pathetic, really. It's kind of pitiful that people would act and be that way. I don't understand it. That seems to be my theme today. In the first part of this trip, that was part of it. Things I don't understand. So I figured out the back way to get to the Starbucks instead of getting up on 287 and running around that way. Actually have figured out the secret sauce and how to pop in from this side of town over here. Now watch me not be able to find it. I'll get lost now that I bragged on myself. That would be my luck. Get all braggy and sassy and then miss a turn. This is like the old hotel zone down here. All these little old mom and pops. Kind of seedy looking. But not excessively so. I mean, most of them look like they're kept up pretty well. It's kind of surprising, actually, for... Is that my road? Or is this my road? This might be my road up here. See, I've lost myself now. I'm not sure. Not real sure about the road I need to be on. I think the other one was it. I knew I was going to do that. Brag on myself and then get lost. Never fails. You get cocky about something and then you get put in your place. too cocky. That ain't it. Okay, I may have to resort to using my GPS here. I think I will, before I get hopelessly lost. I don't get lost too often, but every once in a while. Starbucks. See locations. See what I gotta do to pick the right one. Starbucks. You see the map. How about Starbucks in the town I'm in? One, 2, 7. So there should be one right there. Search this area. What? Horse crap. How about my location? Where did I get tangled up at? Let's try this, because I'm not trusting this. Okay, so that is correct. All right. Directions.
Head north on Burns Boulevard toward Hawes Avenue.
Okay. This is pathetic. Getting lost in Wichita Falls. I mean, really? Oh, come on. My phone holder's gonna give me trouble now. Why wouldn't it? Alrighty. Yeah, somewhere I took the wrong turn, obviously. I was just bragging about not getting lost here. That's funny. That's typical. That's instant karma is what that is. Instant karma. So anyway, here's something I've been thinking about. I want a flatbed for this truck, but I don't want to spend or $5,000 on it because I don't have that kind of money to spend anyway. I think that's pretty crazy, an idea for me. So I've been looking around and I think I might be able to build one for it if I can remember how to weld. Now, the trouble is I don't know if I would trust my welding. It's been a long time since I welded anything. I got kind of taught to weld a little bit back when I worked with some tradespeople in Minnesota at a nuclear plant. Like on my lunch hour, these guys were nice enough to take me out in the welding shop and show me how to weld. And so I did a little bit. I was okay at it, you know. I guess I learned okay. They didn't tell me I was too stupid to do it or anything, which is a plus. But in order to build my own flatbed, I'm going to have to be able to weld. And to do it where I can have good enough welds that it'll be, you know, sturdy and safe to use, you know. There it is. I wasn't too far off. For some reason, the GPS was thinking I was 6 miles away from this, and I'm not. Obviously, I was like half a mile away, if that. This is the busiest intersection I've been at yet in Wichita Falls, I think. I had to actually sit and wait a second. Okay, Starbucks is right here, right here. So I was on the right track, I just missed the road. Obviously. Completely obviously. All right. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking about. If I can't afford to buy a flatbed, maybe I can figure out how to build one. Now, the question is, do I really want to get into welding and stuff? I know I've got welders out in the barn. There are several of them.
Welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you?
Could I get a venti decaf latte, please?
You say something with stevia?
I'm sorry?
What was that?
Could I get a venti decaf latte, please? Actually, make that a venti decaf mocha. I'm sorry.
Venti decaf mocha?
Yeah,
Awesome. What else for you?
that'll do.
Alrighty. I'll see you up here.
Thank you. So the question is, am I smart enough to figure out how to do this? And would my welding be good enough to make it a safe and utilitarian flatbed? And would it look decent? Because I don't want to slap something together and have it look ugly. You know, I want it to look nice. And I think about all the effort and work and parts and all that that would take to get that done. And then I think maybe I should just buy one. I don't know. I don't want to spend that kind of money though. It's crazy. It's crazy money. All the truck beds I hauled over the years, I never realized they were that expensive of things. I probably hauled 40 truck beds at a time on my 40-foot trailer. I'm sure no more than that. So 40 divided by 10 is 4. So 4 or 5 stacks of 6 or 8. However high they stacked them. So, yeah, probably about 40 of them at a time. It's a lot of money's worth of truck beds I've hauled. I just don't want to pay that much for one. I'm cheap. What can I say? I don't have unlimited funds. You know.
$3.36, but I'm out of pennies.
That's
because of,
fine.
like, government stuff. So
Yeah,
I
that's
give you a
fine.
little extra.
Awesome, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too. I don't know if you heard that. She gave me $3.60 and change, even though she only owed me like $3.57, but she did it because, you know, pennies and government stuff. That's cute. That's funny. I'm gonna go over here just for grins. I'm gonna drive by the big Tex yard just to see if they got any truck bodies standing out there. I don't think they had them here. I think all they had was trailers when I was hauling in here, but I don't really remember. I just got to do a little flip around here, go down the other side of the interstate. I hauled a lot of trailers in and out of this store, mostly in, I think. Hauled a few out, but mostly hauled them in. Man, I haven't had a Starbucks in a long time. They got their Christmassy cups out already. She got a peppermint mocha. I wasn't thinking. Well, duh. Next time, maybe. 'Tis the season for that. They only have those certain time of year. They can make them, but they only have the standard ones for Christmas, I think. Truck beds. Nope, trailers. Oh, they got truck beds. Got a few of them. Might check with them. They'd probably be grossly expensive though, because Big Tex anything is grossly expensive. It just is. It's the nature of the beast. Big Tex is an enormously popular and enormously expensive brand. Although the most expensive trailer I hauled was not a Big Tex trailer. It was a Heart Solitaire, maybe, trailer. It was a special order, custom, 40-foot long horse trailer. It was either 2 or 4 horse trailer with fancy living quarters in it. Fancy living quarters. I mean, like cajillionaire style living quarters in a horse trailer. It was the biggest and heaviest trailer I ever hauled anywhere. And it was a pain in my neck. I didn't enjoy it. It was too big, too heavy. And the lady who was waiting on it was thinking that I should just be able to drive all night to get it to her. I'm like, lady, I got a CDL here. I have to like mind the hours. I can't just drive straight through to you. You're gonna have to just wait till I get there. And she was nagging me the whole way. Calling me to check on me. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Are you there yet? Are you there yet? Like, oh my gosh. Okay. I'll pop up here on 79 and run it back up to Waurika. Waurika is the way I usually come. When I come down here, I usually come through Waurika. Well, Guy, I don't know what your problem is, but I don't always come down on the turnpike. When I get sick of the turnpike, I run through Waurika. But we're gonna finish this trip by going back that way anyway. Yeah, it's a good cup of coffee. I shouldn't even actually call it coffee. It's decaf for one thing, so it's not really coffee. And it's mocha, so it's some chemical concoction of chocolate. Anyway, but it's really good. I like it. Whatever it is, whatever the hell it is, I like it. Whatever it actually is. I'm kind of tempted to build stuff to suit me. Like I was just talking about the flatbed. I'm also tempted to build a house to suit me in Craig, but because I could get land up there reasonably cheap, a lot in town. But then I think about all the ordeal of building. And I mean, the easy fix for that is to put in a trailer house or a modular, and I don't want either one of those because they don't hold their value like a house. And in that climate, it's not the best housing you can get for, you know, keeping warm in the winter. They have their drawbacks because they're not insulated as well, not built as heavy as a house. So I really don't want to spend a bunch of money. I mean, I think even mobile homes now, new ones, are as much as a house anyway. So you're better off just building a basic house than you are putting in a mobile home. But it's the ordeal of having to live through the building process, and I don't think I want to do that. I think that would be a nightmare. And I have the distinct feeling that because I'm widowed now, that there are people in this world who take advantage if they thought they could. I mean, I'm not naive. I know there are people in the world like that. And I understand that, you know, there are crappy people in every profession, but knowing my luck, I'd get some shyster builder who would screw me over, and I'd end up having nothing. So I think I'm just safer just buying something, you know, even if it's something I have to fix up, and I don't mind that. I'm not crazy about the idea of fixing up another house, but I've never had a house that I didn't have to fix up. Aside from the very first house I bought, I think, was move-in ready, but that was it. Everything else has been, because I'm cheap. I don't buy the most expensive house on the block. I buy the cheapest house that I can find that is structurally sound. And that's how I've always operated with that ever since that first place, because I just don't really feel like going into debt for something that, you know, I'm just not willing to do that anymore. I didn't like it before. I certainly don't like the idea of it now. And when I was working, it was a different thing. I was working at a decent income. I could, you know, manage it and all that. not something I want to deal with now. I mean, I don't want to impoverish myself taking out a loan on something I can't afford, when instead I'd rather just buy something outright, even if it's something that needs work, and not owe anybody anything on it, you know. That's kind of the thing. But I got ideas. I got all kinds of house plans in my head. One of the things that I've done all my life that I can remember is sit down and draw on house plans, just for fun, coming up with different layouts, different houses, different room arrangements, this, that, and the other thing. It's just something that's always interested me. I don't know why. But, so I got plenty of ideas. I just don't have any faith in my ability to take it from being a sketch to being a finished product without having some catastrophic problem along the way that I can't afford to deal with and don't want to deal with at this point in life. So, and I've dealt with contractors in that area before, just for little things, and never had any luck finding anybody that was worth a crap. You know, I tried to find somebody to do just a little bit of plumbing, to plumb in my washer and dryer in a house I moved into up there. And they came in and did a shitty job, never finished the job, and they spilled purple adhesive all over my brand new washer and dryer doing it. I mean, that's the kind of thing. I have a bad taste in my mouth from the people I have dealt with in the past. So I don't really want to give anybody else a chance to do something else stupid. So it would be stupid on my part to give anybody that opportunity. So if it's not something I can do myself, I'm kind of pretty much like, nah, ain't happening. And I can't build a house myself. And I'm not going to ask my brother to build it for me because he's trying to finish building my sister's house. I'm not going to do that to him. He's only a year and a half behind me, so he's getting to be an old guy. And I don't think he expected to spend his golden years building houses for people. So I need to find something, just something reasonable, something I can live with. It doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be fancy. There are a couple of them up there that I've kind of got my eye on, but I can't really do anything about it because I have to sell this place first to get the money to do that. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's the way most people are. You've got to take your equity out of the house you've got, you know, sell it and take the proceeds and buy with that money. Well, that's what I have to do. So I'm a long way from getting that done, a long way. I wish that everything that I need to do was already done and I could just pack up and go, because, you know, life is short, as my sister-in-law reminded me last night, and she's 100% right. It is way too short, especially too short to be sitting around doing something that you're not really that much interested in doing anymore. And I'm just not that much interested in living here anymore. Just not. It's just not that interesting to me. But it's kind of a conundrum because I love the house, I love the land. I just don't like where it's located anymore, you know? It's in the wrong state. It just is. It's just how it is. That was an interesting paint job on that car, is what I was laughing about. Not the fact that they were broke down on the side of the road. I wasn't laughing because that was funny, because it's not. But the paint job got me tickled. There's no traffic today because the speed limit down here is 75 and I'm running about 65. I'm just trying to conserve diesel. I don't need to be frivolously burning extra fuel if I don't have to. At the same time, I don't want to like impede traffic, have everybody pissed off because I'm, in the road going way too slow. So it's really nice that I don't have anybody behind me, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I appreciate that, the lack of traffic. Bitty pump jacks out in these fields. Those must be little old shallow wells. Pump jacks nowadays are big, most of them. Those look pretty old and rusty. It's a thriving metropolis of Petrolia, Texas. That's where we are right now. I don't know if he's waving at me because he liked me or didn't like me. You can never tell from a pilot car. I was just trying to stay over so his wide load can get through there. I was thinking about the pros and cons of moving, and I mean, I kind of had to go through this in my head a little bit. So I'll start with the cons. Cons of me moving to Colorado, or I've got to sell the farm, which I don't really want to do. I've got to figure out something with the cats, which I really don't want to do. I've got to continue paying $2,500 plus a year for homeowners insurance just because of the weather, which I really don't want to do. Or wait a minute, that's on the other side of the ledger. Let me start over. So, bad things about moving. Dealing with the cats. Selling the farm. Having to move everything. Having to spend all this time sorting things out and getting it prepped to go. And the uncertainty. There's always uncertainty. Am I going to be able to find another place? What's going to happen? I don't know. So, basically 5 big cons there. Oh, and 6. Because it's paid off. I own the place. The only thing I have to pay on it anymore is property tax and homeowners insurance. Between those, until the insurance goes up again, and it'll probably go up again this year like it did last year. It doubled last year to $2,500. I hope it doesn't go up anymore this year. But between the two, I'm looking at almost $3,500 a year just to stay in my own house, basically, for taxes and insurance. I can't go without homeowners insurance here because of hail and wind. So that's one of the things. We just had the roof replaced after a bad hailstorm took out the old roof. Granted, the old roof was a terrible roof to begin with. It had issues. They put a cheap ass roof on it when we first bought it just so it would pass for the bank loan. And nobody really did any quality control on this roof. The guy did a terrible job. And we had problems with leaking and other things continuously. He came back, tried to fix it. He never could fix it. He was useless. The guy was just somebody's uncle who the realtor recommended to do the roof cheap. Bad idea. So granted, it was a crappy roof to start with, and now there's an actually really good roof on it, correctly done. It had new sheathing and everything put on it. So it's really a good, solid, stable, functional roof, like should have been done in the first place. But it was done to the tune of almost $30,000 too. The original roof that they put on it when we first bought it was a $6,000 roof, so you can see the difference there. And that was just over like 7 years of time. So something wasn't right somewhere. I don't want to have to replace a roof out of my pocket ever up here because, or down here, because, you know, it's just too expensive. Roofs are extremely expensive to replace, and it takes forever to get them replaced because when you have a big hail event and it takes out hundreds of roofs, then you're in the waiting line for a contractor, and just that's what took so long to get the roof on this last time. We had to wait almost a year just to get the contractor out to do the roof. I mean, it was a long wait. So that's a big negative to living here. So then the negatives of living there are things are way too expensive. It's insanely expensive up there. Houses like my house on 12 acres, if I'm super lucky and I get top dollar out of it here, may buy me a little 1,000 square foot house in town, maybe a fixer-upper, maybe, if I'm really lucky. So that's a huge negative about moving up there. The other is the weather, because I'm going to be going back to heavy snow and sub-zero temperatures in the winter and super long winters. Winter up there can go anywhere from September to May, you know, and it can last any length of time. In between that, it can even go longer some years. So it's a lot of time with winter conditions to deal with. It costs more to heat up there. And because Colorado has been taken over by lunatic communists, they're trying to make things even more difficult for people because right now they're trying to outlaw natural gas, which is the most economic heating source we have in Colorado. Everybody that has a good functional high quality heating system usually has a forced air gas system that runs on natural gas, and they're trying to outlaw it. So I mean, there are some negatives, but on the positive side, if I sell this, the positive is I'll hopefully have the money to make the move and to replace the house and not have to owe anybody anything, because I won't have to take out a loan if I can find the right place to buy. I'll be in town. I won't have the concerns of upkeep on a little place in town that I have now on this 12 and a half acres, because it's a lot. It's getting to be a lot to take care of this land. I mean, I mow a lot. I have to mow a lot, and just maintaining the mower this year was a major pain in my neck. I mean, I spent days and days working on that mower just to keep it going, because a mower to take care of this size of a property, if you buy one new, it's about $4,000. I don't want to do that. So I got it running. I don't know if it's going to run next spring or not. I started it up yesterday, and I don't know if it sounded great or not, but it mowed what I needed to mow yesterday. And then I put it back for the winter. But so that's a thing, the maintenance, what it takes to maintain a big property. It'll be much easier to take care of a house in town, with the exception of shoveling snow. I'm not crazy about that idea. So that's going to depend on what kind of place I buy, whether or not I'll have to shovel snow. If it doesn't have a sidewalk out in front of it, I'm golden. I don't have to shovel snow. I can just run over the snow coming out of my driveway with my four-wheel drive and pack it down. I did that for years up there. I never shoveled snow at my old house. I didn't have a sidewalk out front that had to be mowed, or had to be shoveled. So I just run back and forth through the driveway and pack it down, and I had a nice packed driveway without the hassles of shoveling snow. So I mean, that can be a plus on one side and a minus on the other. If I get a place that has a sidewalk out front, I'm going to have to shovel the sidewalks. There's no escaping that. So I don't know. But then the other positive, of course, is my family's mostly there. All but I've got a couple of cousins, and I've got one brother and one sister who don't live in that area, in the direct area. Everybody else is there. So that's where the majority of my family is, which is why I want to go. I want to be around my family mostly. So that's a huge plus. And then the other plus to it is I think I'm actually healthier living at a higher elevation, because the elevation here on my hill where I live is about 1,300 feet. The elevation in Craig, Colorado is about 6,500 feet. And I just think that I'm healthier when I live up there, because the air's thinner, your heart works a little more efficiently maybe. You process things differently. It's harder to gain weight at that elevation than it is here. It sounds crazy, but it's true. And so, just for my health purposes, I'd much rather live up there. Now, if I had like bad heart disease or something, that would be reversed, because high altitude is not good if you've got some kind of serious heart disease that can be debilitating. But for somebody who's reasonably healthy, and apparently I am, it's kind of, in my mind, from what I've experienced myself, living in a high altitude environment all that time, I was in a lot better shape living up there than I am now living down here. So, and a lot of it has to do with the altitude and the ability to get out and do things and spend more time outdoors. Like, I can spend time outdoors here, but I don't have a lot of actual interests or hobbies that I can go do here where I get a lot of exercise doing them. I mean, really the only thing I can do here as far as a hobby is I can go out and metal detect, but I have very few places to go metal detect anymore. It's, the well of places to go detect is drying up. Places have been built on. I've tried to get permission to go certain places, can't get permissions. The hot spots have already been metal detected to death. So it's really hard to find a really good producing spot to go metal detect. Otherwise, it's interesting and it's kind of fun because occasionally you might find a silver quarter or something. But for the most part, the good spots are pretty much private property, and it's difficult to get permissions, and it's just one of those deals. It's not the sport. It's not what it used to be. It used to be a lot easier to have public sites that you could go hunt. Well, it's gotten more and more restrictive over time. It's just kind of the way things go. Anything that looks fun, somebody's got to shut it down, So there's that. I mean, I can go out and I can do rock hunting, climb up and down hills, do all the stuff that I do out there. So I get a lot more exercise when I'm in that environment as opposed to here. And in the summer, it's pleasant there. It's not like a sauna. It's not like a heat bath. Trying to go out and do something in the summer there. I mean, it can get hot, but it's a different kind of hot. It doesn't just boil you. So you can go out and do rock hunting or, hiking around or whatever. Look at interesting things and, do fun things. So that's a big plus. So I mean, just when I look at all the pluses and minuses, and I'm sure I've forgotten a few here and I got to rambling a little bit, but when I look at the balance sheet on it, there are more reasons for me to live there than there are for me to live here. That's just what it comes down to. And even if the pros and cons didn't add up that way, I'd still go anyway because that's what I want to do. So, I mean, that's a big one. Where do I want to be? Well, I really want to be at home. And this has been home to me for the last 15 years. And we lived down here a while when I was a kid, so it's not like an alien land to me or anything. It's not like I need culture shock coming here, but it's just not home. So it's time to go home. Now I'm chomping at the bit to go, that I've made up my mind to do it. And if I could, I'd sell the house today and leave tomorrow, to be honest. And if I had to figure out something to do with the cats, I guess I'd figure out something to do with them. I guess if I absolutely was forced to do it, I guess I would take them with me and just make them strictly inside cats, or maybe make them a safe enclosure outside where they couldn't escape and get out in the street or anything. Because these are country cats. They've never seen a road. They wouldn't know what to do. They'd probably get smashed in 5 seconds flat, or run out in town and the dog would kill them, or they'd get lost or whatever. So, I mean, worst case scenario with the cats, I could take them with me, even though I hate traveling with cats. It's disgusting. I could do that, and I could create them a safe habitat to where they could be outside when it's nice, but also be prevented from escaping and running loose and getting themselves killed out of stupidity. So I mean, I could do it. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I got the two that are the most rickety. I've only got one male left. I got 3 females, and one of the females that I've got is the mother of the male. She's the oldest one. She's gotten to the point where she's so creaky and rickety, and she's just like a bag of rattling bones. And she's got problems. She has accidents constantly. She's just that old. I mean, she's just really old. And so, to cope with it, of course, and her son likes to pee on stuff. He's a male. He likes to pee on stuff. And between the two of them, they create 90% of the critter messes that I have to clean up in the house. So they are basically the reason that the laundry room got a screen door. And I had to reassess how to handle this, how to coexist with them, because I was done having to make messes randomly through the house. I mean, I just was done with that. So what I ended up resorting to now is I have the laundry room segregated. It's got vinyl flooring in it. It's impervious. Nothing's gonna seriously mess it up or anything. And I got a bunch of puppy pads, the training pads, and I put those down in a couple of strategic spots where they like to do their messes. And So that's how I handle that. I can't retrain them to use the cat box because they're too damn old. I mean, they just don't have that control to get there. So it's like, hopefully 90% of the time their messes will be on those, easy to clean up, dispose of them, burn, or whatever. And if I am absolutely forced to do it, I guess I'll take them with me. I don't know what else to do. I'm not going to kill them, although there are people who say I probably should. I'm just not going to do it. If my dad was still alive, he'd do it for me. And I don't want that to happen to them. I want them to live out their lives. I don't want to kill them for my convenience. But I don't want to be, I'm not going to let them ruin my house either. So, I mean, there's got to be a compromise in that somewhere. And this is the best one I could come to. The other two cats are just as old as these two. In fact, they're older than the male because they were born. The mama of the male was the oldest one. She was about 9 months old, I guess, when she got knocked up and gave birth to him and his brothers and sisters, and they're all dead except him. And then the other set are twins from a different mother who died a couple years ago. So they're older than Henry, but they're younger than Dinksy. And they're in fine condition. They're in good shape. They're fat and sassy. So it's just a different cat bloodlines is what I'm dealing with here. But I really don't want to travel with cats and dogs. It's going to be a stinking, god-awful mess doing that. But I may have no choice. I mean, that if I have to do that to get up there, then I guess I'll do it. But I don't have to like it, I reckon. But I've done it before. I've moved critters before. Cats are iffy when you move them. Some of them do great and some of them don't. Some of them get there and then they die. Or they run away or whatever. It's a risky proposition moving cats. Even young healthy cats. And moving old rickety ones is even worse, even riskier. But if I've got to do it, I'll just do it. I'll just suck it up and do it. It'll be 2 or 3 days of sheer hell. And then probably 2 or 3 more days of sheer hell getting them, situated in their new home, but still segregated to where they can't run out and, get themselves killed in traffic until we get settled on a new system and I can get some kind of a chicken wire caging or something in place so they can have some time outside. Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous. Freaking ridiculous. Chickens I'm not worried about. I've got a niece that I think will take them okay. I think she may not want them, but I think she would take them because she likes chickens and they're pretty nice chickens. As chickens go, they're pretty nice. So we will see. Okay, and we're back to highway. Well, guy, you're on the right. You got the right of way. You gonna sit there or are you gonna go? Thank you. And it's my turn. See how that works? People who don't understand the right of way drive me nuts. So what I should be concentrating on is not worrying about what's in the future with the cats. I should be worried about getting things done now to get this house ready to sell. So I think what I'm going to have to, put it on the market, and I think I'm going to list it as high as I can possibly list it, like crazy high price, and see if it'll go. And it might, because houses like it are few and far between in this area. It took me 10 years to find that house. And the only attribute that it didn't have, well, let me put it this way. When it goes back on the market, the only attribute it won't have that it did before is that it will be in much better condition, but it will also be much more expensive. Because I got it cheap, dirt cheap. But we rebuilt the house. I mean, we put a bunch of money in it, remodeling it. So it's basically, you know, there's nothing that really needs done to it aside from a little bit of finishing work that I just never got around to doing before. So I've talked about that before. And I can finish that up. It occurred to me I can finish that without using the table saw. I can do it all just with the miter saw. And I don't have any problem with that. I can set it up on the porch and put in a trim cut and mill and just get that stuff done. It's going to be relatively simple to knock it out. I just need to get with it and get it done. So I quit my whining about it, start working on it. It's not that hard. I don't have to do the fancy work that I was doing. I was like splitting 1x4s and stacking them above the doors. But I got to looking last night. When I got into my bathroom, I just did a simple rail and stiles type woodwork around the windows and the inside of the bathroom door. So I can finish out the house with that too. It's not like it's going to be the only place in the house where it's like that. So I don't think anybody will know or care. And as long as the trim is there, somebody may notice, but I don't think most people would give a crap either way. They'd be like, oh, okay, it looks like it's finished. So that's the stuff that I should be worrying about. And that and sorting out which tools I need to keep and which tools I need to move over for my brother. That Bill left him some tools. And I've got to sort those and make sure they're all in one area so that I can get the estate sale people in and sell everything else. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do it. So yeah. Probably going to be going on and talking like this for the next 6 months while I'm working on getting all this stuff done. I mean, if the best case scenario that I can foresee is getting things sorted and segregated out so that I can have the estate sale this spring, and then right after that get the house on the market, because these guys are coming out and clearing out all the heat and air stuff out of the yard, all the old carcasses for these air conditioners. That's going to probably take up about what would have taken me 2 or 3 months to do by myself. Just out there trying to break those down and get them all hauled off and sold. They do this all in 1 or 2 days, and I'll be miles ahead of toward where I need to be to get this place ready to sell. So I won't have to worry about that anymore. So that'll be good. That'll be real good. weird because I've been like sleepwalking, I guess, for the last few months. It's like I just woke up recently, in a way. It's really weird. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not like I've literally been sleeping, but it's like my cognitive function was hampered by the whole situation, losing Bill and going through all the, the sorrow and the grief and all that. And I've come to the end of the worst part of it, I think, is what it is. And now all of a sudden I'm like, well, wait a minute. Now I got to think about going forward here. I think I'm ready to kind of let go of that and start thinking ahead. I think that's the difference. It's really weird. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, I never, even knowing he was sick, I never expected to end up being a widow or having to think about or deal with any of this stuff. And I don't know why. I mean, it's pretty stupid. It was pretty obvious that it was eventually going to probably kill him. And we talked about it and stuff, and he said as much. I guess I just didn't want to face it. I didn't want to think that it was real, Understandably, I guess. But, then you end up dealing with reality, which very often sucks. Reality can be a real mean thing. But, yeah, I don't know. Just different. Everything's different now. I mean, I feel different. The dogs are different. They've gotten used to just having me around, so they're highly dependent upon me. When before they were more dependent on Bill because I traveled and he took care of them. He was home with them all the time. The last 4 years of his life. And so there's just a lot that's changed, a lot that's very different. And it's not big stuff, it's little stuff, It's like for months I haven't been cooking, but maybe once in a blue moon. Well, all of a sudden here I decided to start cooking again. I might only cook once a week and eat the same thing all week, but that's fine. I'm not just existing on air and the occasional bowl of ice cream or whatever. Kind of starting to come back to life, I think. I think when somebody real close to you dies, you kind of die a little bit with them, maybe. I don't know. Not literally, obviously, but kind of emotionally. I'm not sure how all that works. I don't think anybody is. It's a mystery. truck that looks like Bill's work truck. I'll never see that truck again. It went up to northeast Oklahoma. It was bittersweet seeing that go, but I'm glad somebody's going to get to make some use of it. Maybe have it make some money for their family. Better than sitting and watching it rust into the dirt up at the farm, that's for sure. Same thing with the backhoe and the tractor. I mean, they were just sitting there rusting. And I'm glad. I didn't get as much out of them as I'd hoped to, but I didn't really know how much they were worth either. I mean, I wasn't far off, but the condition of them is pretty critical. Anything you buy like that mechanical, it's got to be repaired. These days, parts are expensive. Crazy expensive. So I'm counting my blessings that somebody actually wants to take them and, you know, put the money into them to make them run again so they can get them sold to somebody else who needs them, can use them. I think that's a great thing. And it also gets them out of my way. But before those guys left with the tractor the other day, I had the spot mowed and I had my little golf cart parked in under there. That golf cart's something else I need to sell too. I'm not going to need that in Craig. Won't do me any good up there. And the only thing I use it for here is just to ride around on the property with Molly on it. She likes to take rides on it, so she's happy taking a ride in the Jeep or on that. She doesn't care. She just likes to go for rides, truck, whatever. And I cannot get Tuck to ride on it. He's scared to death of anything. He won't even get in the truck. When I get ready to take him, I'm going to have to stick him in the truck. I'm going to try and work with him and get him to go in and out of the Jeep and maybe take some short rides with him and get him trained a little bit that it's not a terrible thing and he's not going to get dumped or, you know, because God only knows why he's so leery of riding. He's been in the truck a few times. He's gone to the vet. He came home in the truck. You know, we used to take him for rides occasionally, but he just never has taken to riding. He doesn't like it. It's not his cup of tea. That's going to be something interesting to get him and Molly from here to Colorado without any mishaps. The cats, I can contain them in kennels. That's not that much of an issue. I mean, I hate to do it to them, but I can do it. The dogs are a little different. Of course, with dogs, you got to stop, let them out to pee, and you know, all that. And to do that safely, you got to have them on leashes. So I imagine I'll have to get them some harnesses. I don't trust collars anymore because both of them can slip their collars. So I'll have to put harnesses on them. Just to make sure we don't have any weird mishaps. Well, somebody running off, slipping a collar and taking off. Don't back out in front of me, please. Thank you. I usually go the back way from here and take that right that we just passed and run up the old road. I'm just in a little bit more of a hurry today. Get back. There's a truck stop up here on the south side of town. I'm going to make a pit stop there. Then I have to go, I can't just go straight home either. I got to run out to my sister-in-law's and pick up my coffee cup and a dish I left out there from Thanksgiving. I went over and had dinner with them last night. They invited me over for supper. So I went over, I took my Yeti tumbler, made coffee and took it over. And I left it sitting there last night, and then I had a dish that I had made a side dish in for Thanksgiving and just left it with her. And I walked off and left that dish sitting there too. She went to the trouble to wash it for me and everything. I went off and left it all sitting there. So I gotta run over there and grab that stuff too, so they don't have to babysit it. So since I'm not going straight home, I'm gonna stop and make this pit stop. I drank too much coffee this morning, evidently, already. I mean, I say this morning, but it's almost 3 o'clock now, so. It was probably, I don't know, 11 or 11:30 before I ever got headed down to Wichita Falls, because I was just having such trouble getting going, trying to get the Bluetooth to sync up and all that, and trying to troubleshoot that. Alrighty, well, I think I'm going to end this video here because I've just run out of things to talk about. And I'm afraid I'm going to start just repeating myself now. So if you're still with me, thanks for watching the whole way through. I appreciate it. And I will set up the cameras out in the barn when I start working on that stuff. I was going to do that this week. I may not get to it till next week now, but when I do, I'll be sure and video that. So that should be my next thing to do. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks, bye.